The Board of Trustees of Crystal City Independent School District will meet in regular session at 6 p.m. Monday, August 10th, 2026 in the Administration Building Boardroom 613B. Call the meeting to order at
6 o'clock.
6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Mr. Luis Martinez.
Here.
Mr. Sandy Kizner.
Here.
Mr. Cruz Mata. Absent. Mr. Victor Bonilla Torres.
Here.
Mr. Gabriel Espinosa.
Here.
Mr. Ray Espinosa. Absent. And Ms. Peggy Young.
Here.
For the record, we do have quorum. Moment of reflection. Public comments, sir. Items number 5, consent action items.
So I was gonna make a motion, if allowed, to approve the minutes for the special meeting starting with July 16th and then with July 29th. I cannot motion on the first one, so I was absent on that particular meeting. But I can motion on the other ones to approve as presented.
You want to separate the items, but these are,
I know, but like I said, somebody else can make the motion, but that's the motion I was
want to make?
Somebody else wants to make the motion for all of them, that's fine.
What's that, sir?
There was a motion.
Automatically, I think I was absent for the 16th one.
I mean, and this is where I don't think that, just because you're absent from a meeting, motion to, to approve these, this is, more along the lines of we're approving the minutes. Just because we're not there at the meeting doesn't mean that we're not approving the minutes. I understand that we don't have a recollection or a personal recollection of the actual minutes, but making a motion to approve them all at one time is not.
Yes, sir. I considered that, but then when it came to actually take a vote, I would have to abstain from all of them. Because I don't believe I'm allowed to, since it's just one motion, allowed to abstain from one only, and then the other ones, hold on, I don't know.
No, and I don't think you need to abstain just because you're absent. What we're doing is just approving minutes, the way they're written and the way that, and I don't think there's been any comments in regards to the minutes or anything. I haven't received anything, the way they've been presented in the packet to us.
Okay.
So what's your motion?
My motion was only to, I was gonna move to approve from July 16th to July 29th, but I was just informed that I could make a motion to approve all of them.
I mean, in the past, we've done it. I mean, individually, I don't know why we're changing now. I mean, and again, it's for, you were not there, so whatever discussed or whatever.
Yeah, but that's not,
Well, it's,
So,
somebody else can make the motion. I can withdraw mine right now. Okay, so I'll do that. I'll withdraw it. That way it opens up the floor.
okay. We're on item 5A. For the record, Mr. Cruz did walk in at 6:04.
And Mr. Espinosa at 6:02.
Okay. Item 5A, consideration to approve the minutes for the board meetings held on July 13th, July 16th, July 21st, July 22nd, July 23rd, and July 29th. I have a motion to approve them all. Motion? Do we have a second?
Second it.
Motion made by Mr. Houston, seconded by Ms. Young. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
I'm on abstain.
One abstention. Motion carries 601. Item 6A, discussion action to approve a resolution to designate an officer or employee to calculate the no revenue tax rate.
We're gonna do, okay, see.
Yes, sorry. That was a little bit of business that we're carrying up. We do have Moat Casey, so we wanted to move item 7A up on the agenda, the efficiency audit. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Motion made by Mr. Bonilla, seconded. Seconded by Mr. Espinosa. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries to move item 7A on the agenda. And that is the efficiency audit update. Mo Casey is online to present.
We have Josh Haney with Mo Casey here to discuss the efficiency audit.
Yes, sir, and thank you for having me join y'all virtually this evening. We're going to go through some of our findings to date on the efficiency audit. I'll sort of give a little bit of background on why we're doing the efficiency audit, what a TRE means for the district financially, what the process of an efficiency audit is, and then I'll give a summary of some of our findings. All right. Districts have to do an efficiency audit because they are pursuing what's called a voter approval tax rate election. I think those are items that you guys are going to be considering later on after this presentation. This is a new requirement that was put in place by House Bill 3 back in 2019. And generally speaking, every district that's looking to increase their tax rate through with voter approval has to take this first step to evaluate their efficiency. In terms of what the changes you guys are making to the tax rate, you can see what we've sort of diagrammed out here for you all. Without an election, the district's M&O rate would be 66.69. The election is a request for taxpayers to approve an additional 12 cents to increase that rate up to 78.69. And so you can see the diagram here sort of breaks out the M&O tax rate into various tiers and levels. So tier 1 is that portion of your tax rate you as a district can't really control. That's tied to compression that TEA calculates for you every year. This is again just tied to your year-over-year value growth that your CAD reports to you, and then your staff reports to the state. On top of tier 1 sits tier 2. Within tier 2 are 2 levels. You can see there's golden pennies on the left, 8 golden pennies, and 9 copper pennies on the right. The copper versus golden label just refers to how valuable those pennies are, how much additional state aid can be drawn down from levying those pennies, and whether or not those pennies could be subject potentially to recapture. Golden pennies, as the name would indicate, are more valuable than copper pennies. And golden pennies are also exempt from recapture. The district currently has 5 golden pennies. That's the highest the district can do just through board action. New pennies above that 5th penny require either a voter approval tax rate election, or if there's a qualifying disaster in your county, you can temporarily for 1 year exceed that ceiling. But the only way to permanently exceed that 5-cent ceiling is through an election. We have run some analysis in consultation with your staff, and our estimate of the additional annual revenue from the TRE, from the VATR, the VA TRE, would be around 1.8 million. And this would be a mix of state and local funding. And it would be fairly consistent. The things that are going to change that 1.8 million number are going to be your student counts and the types of students that you have at the district. If your property values go up, that's not really going to change the value of the TRE, or your property values go down, right? Either way, property value changes only really change the mix of funding that goes to pay for that TRE, right? So if values go up, you'll benefit, more on the local side. If values go down, right, then the state will kick in an equalized amount. So again, your net benefit from the TRE is going to be fairly consistently 1.8, right around there, depending on your student counts, right? If your ADA drops, if your enrollment drops, if you have less students participating in those programs like SPED or CTE or Comp Ed, that can sort of devalue your TRE. But all those things being equal, right? Consistent student population, you would see a fairly consistent return on your TRE. All right, so in order to conduct a voter approval tax rate election, you need to complete an efficiency audit. Everything in the efficiency audit is set by state guidelines, right? This is sort of the Bible on when it comes to the efficiency audit in the state of Texas, right? This is the guidelines set by the Legislative Budget Board. They determine every fact and figure that we need to include in this report. And so this is not, the format of the report or the types of information that's in the report. These are not things that Moat Casey has determined, right? We are just helping the district execute on the guidelines and the requirements laid out by the Legislative Budget Board, by the legislature, by TEA. And so those guidelines are available online, and you can kind of see what the purpose of those are. Again, just to evaluate the district really in relation to fiscal peers across a number of different domains, right? Academic, we'll look at financial, operational, demographic. We'll look at all those different areas. The efficiency audit is organized into 20 items. The first half of the report is quantitative items. These are more quantitative focused. And so by that, I mean, very reliant on PEIMS data, lots of tables, analysis on that information. The second half is more qualitative, right? Looking at your processes. Your staff submit a lot of good information to us on these second half of the efficiency audit items here. And again, it's looking at what processes does the district have in place for, you can see, making decisions around compensation, administrator evaluations, demographic projection, the academic programs, future planning. All those things are a focus of the qualitative section of the report. On the quantitative section, again, we're looking at really data heavy items, right? So things, first we identify your peers, then we look at your accountability ratings, both star, A through F and first. Look at your student characteristics, right? Your demographics. Look at revenues and expenditures. Zoom in on payroll expenditures. Look at fund balance trends, as well as different district staffing levels and teacher turnover rates. Those are all items that we pull from PEIMS and run those comparisons as determined by the Legislative Budget Board guidelines. So step one in this process is to determine who your peers are. The main thing that we look at in terms of determining peers is district size and also district enrollment trajectory. We wouldn't want, just because you and another district happen to have the same ADA or same enrollment, if they're rapidly growing and you're rapidly shrinking, right? We wouldn't want to match those up as peers, because those are just very different sort of cost drivers and staffing patterns and stuff between those two districts. So we looked at districts that are same size, same enrollment trajectory, have a similar student makeup as you all. And by that, I don't mean, just, like a eco-dis makeup or other types of, demographic data. What specifically the kind of student makeup that we're looking for is those categories for which there is additional dollars attached, right? So Comp Ed, bilingual education, special education, CTE, those kind of career and technical education, those kinds of things that would, if you have a high participation rate in those programs, that could help draw down additional revenues, right? So we kind of want to equalize on that and kind of look at districts that are your peers in that regard. And so we try and balance that with districts that are geographic peers, right? We know you guys have the football rivals down the street, right? Or the districts around the corner that your community is going to want to compare themselves against. And so this is a set of peers that we came up with sort of at all corners of the state there, from Panhandle down to all the way down to Point Isabel. And so I think we got a good mix of districts here across the state that are comparable to your district. And you can see what kind of led us to selecting these districts. Again, the fall enrollment for you all was right just shy of 1,500. And you guys were declining just shy over a 5-year period of shy of 20% in terms of a 5-year enrollment decline. And so that's kind of what your peers look like as well, right? So you see districts that are right in that, 1,300 to 1,700 range, one at 1,800, that are also experiencing declining enrollment, that also have relatively high, it's kind of a technical term there, the WADA to ADA ratio, but basically that's what I was getting at earlier with regards to the demographic makeup of your students and the participation in those programs that are funded under the Foundation School Program. And so that's the list of districts there. Bowie ISD, Point Isabel, La Mesa, Cameron, Sweetwater, Perryton, Carrizo Springs, and Progresso. And so I'm going to go through, I'm going to focus mostly on those quantitative items the data that we pulled for you all, and just kind of follow those figures in the report. So the report starts off with the accountability ratings. You can see we have to pull the most recently sort of finalized data is kind of what we go with. So for the most recent year, that would be, that's final. Would be the D on 24-25. The district score from 1 to 100 was 69. The peer average was 75. And so you can see that distribution down below with those peers scored above or equal to 2 of the peers, and then the other peers had higher A through F scores in the 24-25 school year. Next up, the report requires a breakout by campus. And so you can see that here. You had most of your campuses were C's, with the exception of Juarez Elementary, which was an F in 24-25 and was required to implement a campus turnaround. Sticking with accountability for a minute, the report requires, the guidelines require that we report on the first rating. So again, throughout the report, we rely on the most up-to-date final data. Some of the stuff may still be being appealed or preliminary. So what you'll see in the report is the most recent final first rating, which is from the 24-25 school year, or 24-25 ratings based on 23-24 data. The district received an F rating. Preliminary scores were released a few weeks ago, or I'm sorry, just a few days ago, on August 7th, which also showed an F rating for the district. Next up is student characteristics. And so you can see sort of the breakout between the district, its peers, and state averages there. So economically disadvantaged, rather. The district reported almost 83% of the student population was economically disadvantaged, compared to 73% of the peers and 60% of the state. Lower levels of English learners, 2.6 compared to 19.6 on the peer district averages. and 23.6 on statewide average. Special education, 22.8 for the district, for Crystal City, 17.3 amongst the peers, 16.7 statewide. And you can read there as well for bilingual, that's going to mirror largely the English learner count. CTE, you guys were fairly comparable to your peers and above the state average in terms of CTE participation. In terms of attendance rate, the district did trail its peers and statewide average counts. You can see in the 24-25 school year, the attendance rate was just shy of 91%. Peer average was about 93%, which was comparable to statewide average, just shy of 94%. In terms of district revenues, you can see where those your sort of revenue sources are coming from. You can see you guys are so more heavily dependent on local taxes compared to your peers and to the state. As you guys know, the state school finance system is equalized based on property wealth. And so that's really what's driving the figures on this slide. Your relatively higher property wealth compared to your student counts is what's driving that those increased percentages you see on the local M&O tax row compared to your peers and to the statewide average. In terms of operating expenditures, you can see the breakout here across those function codes. I'll start with sort of the instruction function at the top. Compared to peers and statewide average, the district, and again, this would be final data as of the 24-25 school year. Again, that's the most recent final statewide data set we have. Only 25-26 data that's available statewide is budget data, and that can be kind of messy. And so for that reason, we rely on actual reported expenditures. And so in the 24-25 school year, the district spent about 46% of their total operating expenditures on instruction compared to 55% statewide averages. You can see for the most part, all the other categories are fairly comparable across the board between Crystal City, its peers, and the state. One area where you and your peers do kind of stand out a little bit above statewide average is plant maintenance and operations, spending more per student, more higher share of revenues of operating expenditures being spent on that function item. But in the other case, in the other places, it's fairly comparable across the board. Payroll expenditure summary is the next figure. So sticking with expenditures here for a minute. The district's fairly comparable in terms of its peers and statewide average in terms of the amount of money being spent on payroll, right there in the high 70s. Districts are fairly consistent in that area. You can see average teacher salary outpaces the peer districts, but just shy of statewide average of 68,000. Average administrator salary, however, is lower than the peers and statewide averages, as is the superintendent's salary, is lower than the peer district average and the state average. Again, this is all as of the most recent final data for 25-27. For fund balance, we see a clear declining trend here at Crystal City. You can see how that's the fund balance has deteriorated over the past 5 years. from 5,800 per student down to negative 1,400 per student. And over on the right are those unassigned fund balance percentages as percent of 3-month operating expenditures. So again, relatively high fund balances going back to 2021. You were still sort of within that 3-month threshold that TEA likes to see districts at through 22-23, and then pretty considerable fund balance declines in 23-24 and 24-25. Staffing levels and turnover. You can see the fairly comparable with peers and district and statewide averages. You can see the teaching staff is a little bit lower at Crystal City compared to its peers. So that's teachers as a percentage of total staff. You're a little bit higher on paraprofessionals and admin staff compared to peers and statewide averages. So that may be something worth further exploration, and auxiliary staff as well. Higher share of your staff, again, as of 24-25, higher share of your staff in those bottom 3 areas compared to teaching staff. Students per total staff, 5.9, fairly comparable to your sort of slotting in there right between your peer district and statewide average. Students per staff, 16.7 compared to peer and statewide average of around 13, right? So that sort of echoes that 35% figure up above, right? A little fewer headcount, lower headcount dedicated to teachers, which is what would drive up that students per teaching staff count there at the bottom as well. Teachers in terms of turnover, you can see there as that bottom table, relatively lower turnover rates at the district, fairly, quite a bit lower compared to the peers that we reviewed, and then about 3 percentage points lower than statewide average. So that is what we're seeing. Again, this would be 23-24, 24-25 turnover. And that concludes the presentation. Again, I want to stress that the figures in this report, the things that we focus on and analyze here, these are all set in the guidelines. The efficiency audit is not intended to be by the legislature or by the legislative budget board to be a sort of thumbs up, thumbs down on if the district's efficient enough for a TRE, right? That's not really, we don't give an opinion in this report. We just sort of stick to those facts and figures as required under state law and under legislative budget board rulemaking. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to any questions that you guys have. I know you guys got a couple other items on the agenda in terms of your tax rate adoption. And so I'll go ahead and end it there if there's any questions.
I have a question, but from Mr. Martinez.
Sure.
Can we get a copy of that?
That was my question. I was going to say, if we can get a copy of this presentation.
Yes.
And also so we can share it on our website, along with the information with the Vader. But you had separated the difference between quantitative and qualitative items as part of the efficiency study. Is there
Yes.
a presentation or something along the lines that gives a little bit more depth into the qualitative side of the
Yeah, a lot of them are, like, so for example, the TA oversight item is, have you had TA oversight in the past 3 years? Yes, no. Did your auditor have an opinion, right? And so it's more checkbox types of responses than in-depth, narratives. There are some items that have those narratives in there, and we'd be happy to share that with you.
Okay.
But we just for purposes of kind of focusing on those main figures that I think you all would be interested in, your community would be interested in. We tend to be a little bit heavier on the front half of the report for these kinds of presentations.
Okay, thank you. Don't have anybody have questions, more questions?
I have a question. So you mentioned payroll cost
Yes, sir.
comparable to peer districts. Did I hear you right saying that they were comparable with those other districts that are similar to ours?
Yeah, and so you can see here, I think this may be what you're referring to. This is basically the amount of your spending that is allocated to payroll, right? And so you can see 78% of your expenditures are coded to payroll compared to peer district averages of 75%, statewide averages 79.5%. So, again, within striking distance of both peer and statewide averages.
What does the payroll amount cover or include?
That would include, all
All three levels?
benefits, the salary benefits, yeah. Just any, it wouldn't cover like, purchases, right? It wouldn't cover, I don't think it would cover consulting, right? Those kinds of things. It'd be like covering your staff costs.
I have a question. Can you go
Yes.
over the staff turnover of the
Yes.
districts and ours?
Yes. So your teacher turnover rate on the 24-25 year was 15.1% compared to the peer district average of 21.3 and statewide average of 18.8. And I can see, I'm happy to open up the hood on that 21.3. That may be, the result of, a district that's an outlier and kind of dragging that average up. I don't have that handy right now, but I can provide that to you.
Just any additional questions? Anybody have more questions? Anything? All right, thank you, Mr. Haney, for the presentation.
Yes, thank
Well,
you.
look, I guess you'll send over the information to Mr. Grill and that way we can go ahead and get everything posted.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, I just looking at it real quick, I was able to find it. It looks like most of the other peers are right there at 20 to almost 30%. And so, yeah, that's fairly consistent across that peer group. So you guys are well below almost all of your peers in terms of turnover.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Make sure it's bigger print.
Now moving on, I did want to move up item 6K, discussion and action to consider the approval of resolution regarding extracurricular status of 4-H organization and adjunct faculty. I do see that Ms. Dominguez is in the audience, so just to be a little bit more stewards of time, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Houston, second. Second by Mr. Bonilla. Discussion? All in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Up, Ms. Dominguez.
Good evening. So today there is a resolution to approve the 4-H organization to be extracurricular, and then also a resolution for me to become adjunct faculty. What that entails is just the fact that the 4-H kids participate a lot out of school in extracurricular activities. So I do request for their academic eligibility sometimes, especially during SOC show. I know most of our kids are from Crystal City. So I do request that. And then sometimes they do participate in district or county contests. So the same thing, just requesting, and they are under my supervision. But apart from that, I did want to talk to y'all about some of the other programs that I can offer within the school.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So these two pages kind of highlight what I do throughout the year. But I do want to emphasize that I can come into the schools and do programs with the kids. It doesn't matter the age. I can tailor programs to the different age groups. Some that you guys actually participated in right now is our Progressive Ag Safety Day, and that's held at the Structural Barn. And there's different stations and they go over different safety protocols, procedures, and kind of preventative measures to take in case the kids are faced with those situations. Another ones that I do participate in the schools are the career fairs. But some that I do want to implement in the schools is kind of going over the agriculture literacy to promote agriculture in the schools and then within this community, because I know we do lack having an ag program here in the school district. So these would be taught with the science classes. Some that I have done in the past is hatching in the classroom. I've done it with the Christian school here in Crystal City, also in Batesville, and as an after-school program for our 4-H kids. Another one is horticulture programs. We did host one in our office this past summer, and it did have a good response. So that's something that I would want to implement here in the schools. And with that being said is path to plate. So teaching the kids where their food comes from and how, when they consume it, that process that we get to. And then another one would be hunter education. Our wildlife biologist with Texas Parks and Wildlife is waiting to come into the school and teach that course for you all. So just something to keep in mind.
And all these programs and all these that you offer, they're all funded by the AgriLife? Or is it a shared?
So we don't get funded to buy the materials, but we do have committees that help us fund those like the supplies we would need. So we have our Zavala Youth Development Committee. That's what they're for, to help me fund these programs. Apart from that, we do get some like printing materials. We do get that through the county. So it would be at no cost to you.
I have programs where like, maybe helping the kids grow vegetables or something.
Yes, yeah, so that would be kind of the horticulture program, so the gardening stuff.
What would a program like that look like if we?
So I would, for like a gardening program, that could be year round. Because there is seasons for gardening, so we could start it maybe in the fall, and we could have our fall vegetables, and then coming into the summer, we can bring in our fruits, our peppers, and different types of.
And that'd be like through all the, I guess through the elementary, all the way through high school and everything, raised.
It would be tailored to the different age groups, because I know the little ones don't comprehend the same things that the older high school kids would.
And if you do come into the classroom and teach or anything like that, if they do, is everything you teach tied to TEKS or
Yes,
like
so
that?
we can tie it back to the TEKS. That way the kids don't lose that instrumental time.
In the past, have you been asked to do any programs in our schools?
No, so I have reached out, but I never got a response back. Just with the safety day, that's the only one that I have gotten a response.
Alrighty. Well, I don't know if anybody has any other questions or anything.
I applaud you for what you
Thank
do.
you.
I think it's a wonderful program.
As far as the growing the crops, does it teach about irrigation?
Yes, so we can teach about irrigation. Yeah, because we're lucky enough to be in a county where we do see this in our backyards. So if kids are driving to La Prairie, they get to see the pivots, but also going into drip irrigation or sprinkler systems that we see in our homes.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How much of this do you do in the park?
Excuse me?
How much of this do you do in the park?
So in La Prairie, I do work a lot with the ag teacher over there. And with Dr. Mender.
Me on the spot.
Yes, sir.
When I went to a workshop last year, do y'all if y'all get some land, can Crystal City grow their own vegetables, or y'all don't go to that extent?
So if y'all get some land, I can help with that, but we don't have land to do that in.
Because I saw it at a workshop last year where they were was about 100 and the kids, teachers, and some farmers and ranchers were growing their own.
So we do host, we have our youth spinach field day in the prior, and we do invite the community, but we haven't directly invited the school, so maybe that's something we need to look into. It is an after-school program, so I don't know how many parents would actually take their kids, but that's something we can look into.
Another question, in Cotula, they have a class for the students of high school to learn how to fish. Is that through your program or that through the Cape program?
So that would probably be through Texas Parks and Wildlife, yeah. So I can, ask about that. Yes, sir.
I know, I mean, where
Yeah, it would,
they
like
have
an
a lot,
anchor.
and when we go play baseball over there, our kids say, why can't? I'm sure, why can't we have something for our kids?
I'll run the team too.
The sponsor.
All right.
Go.
Anybody have any additional questions or anything? No, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you very much.
Do you have a motion to approve the resolution?
I motion to approve the resolution regarding extracurricular status of 4-H organization and faculty agreement for the 2026-2027 school year.
Motion made by Mr. Cruz Mata, seconded. Second?
I can say.
Seconded by Mr. Gabriel Espinosa. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Back to item 6A. Discussion action to approve a resolution to designate an officer or employee to calculate the no new revenue tax rate, the voter approved tax rate, and the other truth and taxation requirements. Mr. Brill.
That person be our CFO, Robert Velasquez.
Is there a presentation or anything, sir?
We need to present anything, Robert? Just a resolution to name him as our designated officer.
One of the new requirements in the legislature. I'll just call that out to you. Resolution by the legislative session, and as part of the new tax rates and new tax rate, especially related to the Vader mandates, that you assign someone with the district, an officer, an employee for this position.
When you assign this person, I mean, how long will this person be staying?
That's all relevant to what the district decides. You can change year to year from between the middle of the
My
year.
understanding is that you're gonna be leaving us in September.
I'm sorry?
My understanding, or maybe it's rumor, you're gonna be leaving us in September.
I'm here because I wanted to help the district.
No, pero te digo,
So I'll stick around as long as the district wants to keep me. Because I am grumpy, so maybe they won't keep you till September.
no, I mean.
Yeah.
The recommendation of district, sir?
Mr. Velasquez.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion made by Mr. Espinosa, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Peggy Young. Discussion? No. All in favor?
I know.
Opposed?
Favor.
Favor? Mr. Espinosa, did you? Okay. Motion carries 7-0. Sammy, I heard him first. I heard her first. I think my left ear is better than my right ear. Item 6B, discussion and action to approve a proposed interest and sinking tax rate for debt service that exceeds the minimum amount required.
Velasquez.
This is also what I'm going to mention, you'll have to take vote on, but this item is the revised no new revenue, the NNR tax rate, voter approved tax rate, or rather a Vader, and rate to maintain same level of maintenance and operations revenue and pay debt service. That is what this next item that you have on the agenda on page 24. You'll see there in the middle of that resolution that it says the board finds the district's minimum debt rate, tax rate is at 0.2938 per $100 valuation is projected to go up or proposed to go up to 0.30395. In other words, 3.3040, an increase of about a penny over the minimum rate. So just have to let the public know that that is the intent of the district, okay, on the debt service side.
The purpose of recommending an increase in our INS tax rate for the current year is,
The purpose for increasing it is because we sometimes have, as you may have seen later, I'll point out later in the calculation worksheet, that the rate of collection isn't at 100%. So that slight sliver, that one penny generates enough revenue to make the payment complete. We're not allowed to tax beyond, but we are allowed up to this level to make sure that we make our complete payment.
I'd add that our new certified values came in late July, and our certified values have gone down almost 22%. So the penny doesn't generate as much as it did this current fiscal year. And so the tax rate going up is to make that difference from the lower appraisal value. And we'll anticipate that the appraisal values this upcoming year will go down even more due to the disaster to homes. Now they'll lose value because unless they're repaired.
I have a question in reference to this because, it's connected to the fact that we have a surplus in the INS fund. And one of the first things that we were informed when we were told about the improper transfer of monies, that we still had a big balance in the INS fund, and that we were not supposed to have a balance like that, a surplus balance, because the INS fund rate is supposed to be almost exactly what we need in order to generate the monies we needed to make our yearly payments. And so one thing that was brought up was that TA might look into why we have such a surplus in that account, not the maintenance and operation, but in the INS. So it came to my mind that I understand about if we didn't have that surplus, we would need to increase our tax rate for the INS. But being that we have this surplus of about 3 million, because I'm not including the 2.7, 3 million, that is money that has not been used hasn't been sent as a lump sum to pay down our bonds that we have outstanding, that maybe we could use a portion of that to cover the increase in our INS, proposed increase in our INS fund tax rate. I don't know if it's possible, if it's allowed or not. Are you aware of that? If it's allowed?
I'm aware what you're speaking. Did you want me to say something?
Yes, no.
The district is allowed to utilize those funds since the district already has them. At some point, it appears that the district, because I've been gone for about 7, 8 years, the district generated more revenue. The tax rate for this particular fund was not adjusted. So you've generated revenues, but also in defense of that is you've earned interest. The district would invest money significantly, and it generated revenue above. There have been years back in the day that the district exercised the use of that by lowering the INS rate and increasing the M&O. Bottom line remained the same. So as the tax rate would not recognize an increase because we had some funds in the INS service. That's possible. I'm not sure if at this venture, at this point in this venture, if a financial advisor would suggest that or not, but there is a possibility.
Because then I was taking into account the fact that they were going to push the Vader, and that would be an increase in our M&O tax, and this will help alleviate the tax burden for our citizens. If we were to use some of the surplus in our INS fund to offset any lowering of money coming in through the INS tax.
as I mentioned earlier, it was 29 cents, the maximum allowed to pay the debt, the current debt, and it's going up 0.0101 cents in the INS in this projection, in the documentation that Mo Casey helped us put together. So it would be 1 penny.
And that's to collect enough to pay our debt service for this year.
Yes, sir.
Now, in terms of in our budget surplus that was presented as part of the tax rate, there was said there was 6 million, about 6 million in surplus, or in our INS fund, minus the 2.7 that we still owe to INS. So that leaves about $3 million left, right? That is used to pay this year's tax or debt service, or is that just a surplus?
That's a surplus, and the district has the ability to access those funds under very restrictive rules. I'd like to share them with, but I wouldn't want to misspeak. The rule, our financial advisor, which is Tijerina Financials, could elaborate on that if you'd like him to come in. But those funds can be, or used to be, allowed to be utilized to make improvements, fixed assets, things of that nature. But if I remember correctly, and please do not quote me, you have to go to the voter and ask to use those funds for the specific items and at zero cost to the voter. In other words, let me use these monies that were generated through that process, but you have to go to the voter, if I remember correctly. Mr. Tijerina would be the one to advise.
So just because we have a surplus doesn't mean we can use them to pay our debt service.
No. You can, by buying down or cutting back a little bit on the tax rate. And this particular, it's 1 penny. And that might change the entire structure of the presentation that you're having, or the item that you're.
Yes, sir.
Can you instruct Robert to maybe get in contact with Mr. Tijerina? So in case we need to do something, I mean.
Because it for sure it would help our citizens.
Well, I mean, and that money isn't sitting in an account right now, is it? Or is it? It is?
3 point something.
Yeah, okay.
I'll show you a report in the informational report.
Well, if I could expand on this too. So you also have a deference in your INS account. So you carry a fund balance in your INS in the event one of your top 10 taxpayers were to file bankruptcy. So all 10 of our top 10 taxpayers are in the oil and gas industry. So if one of those companies were to move, pull out, go bankrupt, that could negatively impact the amount of revenue we collect in taxes. And so there's where your fund balance comes into play, is to make up for lost revenue due to a taxpayer who's left the district. It's called a deference.
The reduction in the values from the 1,500,000,000 to the current is due to minerals. So that's very, very likely that could happen again. And being caught in the middle of the year, when we have to make payments, the district has to make payment, would be very, very unfortunate.
There's also my understanding, Robert, that we refinanced the bond. And so this year's payment is larger than the future years. And so, again, I completely understand and respect what we're saying over here in regards to the taxpayers, but we're looking at a near 22% reduction in appraised values, and that was before the flood. Okay, so that could become a greater amount. In other words, we might not be collecting what we're predicting we're going to collect tonight. So it would be prudent, just because of the extenuating circumstances, that we not touch that fund balance.
I'm not saying touch it, I'm saying for Robert to get an opinion from Tijerina. Because right now he doesn't know, we don't know, and just.
We can do that.
Yes.
We can do that.
Just
Sure.
Yes.
for information, not to start, I mean.
Sure.
Because I understand, I mean, what's happening right now in Chula Vista about all this homes.
We can do that, Ray. Yeah, certainly have Mr. Tijerina look into that. Advise us.
I'm not sure if you vote on this resolution at this time, and I'll have some more information as we proceed.
No, we
Do my recommendation to vote on the resolution.
recommendation.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a motion to approve the proposed interest in seeking tax rate for debt service that exceeds the minimum amount required.
Motion.
Motion made by Ms. Peggy Young,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Reyes Espinosa.
Comment?
Yes.
Do we have to specify how much it's gonna go, it's gonna go over the minimum?
Well, as it's written in our packet, you know, the 1 cent, that's what we're taking a vote on, to approve this INS rate.
I'm hearing in the motion. Well, she just said she motioned, but nobody mentioned any amount other than going above. And I think we need to be specific.
If you want to, there's a
Which page, sir?
Page 24.
page 24,
The bottom?
Middle of the page.
big portion.
You want me to start with I move?
Yes, please.
I move that Crystal City Independent School District approve the proposal of an interest and sinking rate to pay debt service that exceeds the minimum cash service debt service tax rate as defined by the Texas Tax Code and the Texas Education Code. The board finds that the district's minimum cash debt interest and sinking rate of 0.1, Robert, 0.30.395 used to pay debt service exceeds the amount, the minimum debt service tax rate by 0.101 per $100 evaluation. Additional revenue generated by the proposal rate will be used for lawful debt service purposes, including mitigation of future tax rate volatility.
Do we have a second?
Mr. President, may I make a correction
Yes, sir.
to that motion? It's 0.0101.
0.0101. All righty. Do we have a second?
I second it, and now go ahead
Motion
and
made by Ms. Peggy Young, seconded by Mr. Reyes Espinosa. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Item 6C, discussion and action to approve a resolution to set the maintenance and operation and interest in sinking tax rates for tax year 2026. Robert?
Discussion action to approve the resolution. It's on page 43.
43?
The resolution states, this is the maximum, and that was what was in the notice. If you look at the middle of the page, it says, on this date, we, the Board of Trustees of the Crystal City School District, hereby levy on per $100 valuation. These are the dollar numbers the district will present down the road as their Vader. The maximum being in the M&O side at 0.7869 per $100 valuation, and the debt service amount at 0.30395, ballpark rounding it up to 0.3040. Combined, these rates are at 1.09 cents per $100 valuation combined. And this is the resolution you'll be looking at. I'm looking for more information for you.
what was the combined,
Pardon?
the combined rate?
So the combined rate will be,
Right at the very top,
Oh,
it's a ball right there.
did you get that?
it's
$1, $1.09?
on the top. We found
Kind of good.
the question, but also.
The combined rate was 109, correct? $1.09, zero, or $1.09085 per hundred. Any additional information, sir, or anything to discuss?
Let me mention this other thing. It says here, the rate to maintain same level of M&O rate versus the rate to pay the minimum debt is under the Texas Education Code, Chapter 49 and 48 and 49 equalization formula. The INS component reflects the minimum rate required to meet all outstanding debt service obligations, and current year debt. This must be passed in a, what they call a supermajority, which means 60% of the board must vote in favor. In other words, 5-2 is the minimum, okay, to pass. The rates below are on that page, on page 26, it reads, the rates below are given for evaluation. This year's no new revenue capture tax is at 1.1897 per $100. That's higher than what the district is proposing, okay? Combined rate again is mentioned is at 109. The descriptions continue as this year's voter approval tax rate using the supermajority approved debt rate would be at 0.9709. That's what we're gonna type. Any questions?
So it's 0.6669 for the maintenance and operation and 0.3040 for the INS.
For the current budget that you see,
Okay,
for the Vader, it's slightly higher.
7860.
Yes,
okay.
yes. Additional 12 cents. On page 27, you have a calculation worksheet. You can entertain me for a little bit. In the middle of the page, you got number 1 on page 27. It says prior year tax, total taxable value. Well, that number we mentioned earlier at the 1,568 million. Below that, number 2 says prior year tax ceiling at 2,370,000. That was for exemptions of folks that are at 65 and older and disabilities. That's a calculation down there. For value back then, up to 1,566 from the 1,568. On the following page 28, line number 8 says prior taxable value adjusted by the actual and potential court-ordered adjustment was at 1,566 million. Bottom of that graph, or that line, that page, line 16 says adjusted prior levy was actually at 14. Levy being the collection that we made. After it's adjusted, the maximum we could collect was at 14 million. That was for everything, for debt service and M&O. Okay, that was based on last year. On the following page 29, line number 17, the current year taxable value on the current year certified appraised roll today, it says certified values is at 1,198 million. That's the total value this tax year that we're looking at. It dropped significantly from the 1,500 million, okay? Current tax year ceiling this time around is 3,139,000, much higher than the prior year. Current year total taxable value is now at 1,194,000. Line 25, skip that, line 25 is the adjustment between line 21 and 24, the exemptions. The total adjusted current for taxable value is at 1,192 million. That's per $100 valuation. The following page identifies line 27, that's page 30, current year maximum compressed rate. That's the maximum the district can tax. The MCR is at 0.6169. The district is taxing currently at 0.6669. The extra 5 pennies that was mentioned by Morgan Case. You do not have, the district does not have to go to the voters. And you will see that on line 28. Combined rate is at 0.6669. Moving down, the debt is mentioned here at $3.7 million $3.7 million. The amount the state is assisting this year, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, is 222 million. So the debt that the district has to worry about from taxes is 3,523,000. The following page, page 31, adjusted current debt is at 3,523,000. That will come from taxpayer. On line 33, you'll notice the rates of collection in history. In 25-26, it was 95%. In 24, it was 97. And in 23, it was 97. So it will fluctuate. Hence, the reason to be cautious when you do your tax rates. and quite to have a fund balance. Line 37, it says M and O is actually at 0.6669 plus the 30 brings us to the 97. That's pretty much the information I need to provide for you. On page 35 is a summary of finance. It's really small print. It's unintentional, you have to read. It's in very small print. It's a side-by-side of 3 tax estimates that the agency, Mo Casey, prepared for the district. The first column in blue is the one that this budget is set on. The numbers generated by there are based on the FTEs, ADA, and estimated collections and value that the appraisal district provided the agency. The middle column is if it goes up just a few more cents. The final column over to the right is if it went, the M&O went to the 7 years. We are using for budget purposes, the lower one, the 0.6669 under the M&O. The rest of it again is calculations. A lot of these documents will go on our website, it's required now. We use basically the proposed budget and then the adopted budget on the website. We'll have to add these documents. Do you have any questions, anything else? The rest of it is information for you, but I guess you need to take action on this one.
My only question, sir, is on the motion, is there any wording that needs to be part of the motion in order to pass this, or?
Robert, do we have the proposed language for the motion?
Let me see. This is on number,
Seeing it in the book.
number 24.
I don't see it in the board packet, that's why I'm asking.
I think it's the item that is just on page 43. It says resolution of the board of trustees. That you probably just preface it by saying you make a recommendation or a motion to do that.
But this is for the Vader,
No, not yet.
up in the regular one, right?
No, this is,
Vader's the next.
yeah, the Vader's the next.
I know, but you mentioned that on page 43.
Well, this is information, I guess.
That the tax rates presented there are for the Vader.
What I've done is I've mentioned the statements, and basically the statements which are on page 44. Made those.
But yes, I understand. But for
But you're right.
our
Do the
actual,
resolution when you get to that.
for our actual tax rate, it would be, write this correctly, 0.91480, which includes M&O and INS. Am I correct on that one?
That's what's being used now.
And but that's the maximum rate
Where did you see that?
here.
No, that's not the maximum rate, it's 109, the maximum combined rate. There's notice to a voter's approval rate, the highest tax rate. See, that's the highest tax rate you can do without going to the voters. See, you're going above that. So you're required a voter ratification. The notice of voter approval rate, the highest tax rate the district can adopt before requiring a voter approval of an election. That's the minimum, that's the ceiling. You can't go beyond that.
No, I get that, I get that part, I get that part. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that we have we're gonna have 2 different tax rates. One, the one we would normally approve, and then later we're gonna ask our citizens to approve a Vader, which would be an increase in the M&O. That's gonna increase the amount of the tax on M&O, am I correct?
Yes.
So when are we gonna show the difference?
Well, that's the thing, I think what we need to do is approve a tax rate for the Vader. If the Vader doesn't pass at that time, we come and approve a different tax rate and then adjust our numbers.
Tax rate, I think already, you've already done that for the 66 cents.
Yes,
Then you call the election for these rates. If it passes, you adopt that tax rate at the time
Right.
that it passed.
If Vader doesn't pass, you have a board meeting to adopt.
We have to readjust.
Yeah, that-
Okay, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
our community understands that.
Yes.
And this budget is set so that if it doesn't pass, we just have to make the adjustment for the shortfall at this point.
So here in a minute, we'll be recommending the beta rate, which is 78.69.
I understood that part.
Fails, then it'll be the 66.
Right.
We have a moment, sir.
I don't have any language for this.
Simply information.
No, I think it's an action item, Robert.
Right, here it's an,
Item 6C, it's an action item.
Now, if y'all want to table this and let Robert go find the motion language, then we can. For this.
No, it's for this one.
Okay, if someone wants to read this,
Anybody?
go ahead. Go ahead. All right, Robert, we got it.
Have a motion. You have a motion?
Yeah, I move to approve an M&O tax rate of 0.7869 and an INS tax rate of 0.3040.
You have a second? Second made by Mr. Gabriel Espinosa. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Item 6D, discussion action to adopt the 2026-2027 budget.
As I made the presentation earlier, this budget is on a shortfall of revenue at approximately $1.3 million. There are items in here that are not yet in this budget, which increase the deficit. But the fact that the Vader is on the agenda would greatly assist this dollar. And again, that's what Mr. Grill has been asking the public for. So you heard the presentation earlier, and items this year.
In terms of items that you say are not as part of this budget, what items would that look like?
We're missing, because I did not receive them, the extra duty. We have athletic and we have band that came in salary format from HR. We don't have in this budget, those items did not come in, like for UIL, things of that nature. It can be added and by amendment, but it's possible to do that, but it'll just increase, or we'd have to work within those numbers and still would have to come to the board for approval on that amendment.
That'd be a budget amendment.
And that's for all, any of the other stipends and anything for, as far as
Other than the band,
bio and,
athletics, or,
okay.
Yeah, like an estimation of how much that would be.
and maybe a little over $500,000, including fringe benefits, because you have to pay unemployment, workers' comp and all that. Yeah. It's a conservative number, right?
And that's from what they.
For the year,
Hmm?
for the year.
In terms of, the cash flow analysis for the year and everything, when do you expect to have that completed and presented to the
For
board?
the 26, 27, and probably by the next board meeting, we'll have something for you. And again, those are projections based on how income is coming in and how expenses are being incurred. And I mentioned earlier, and I was ingesting, if we can manage the staff not to expend outside what we must have, such as utilities and payroll, it would greatly assist that function.
Martinez,
Project across, we only get revenue for 2 months, September and October, from TA and any other dollars we generate, some from tax, from rental of facilities, gate receipts, those items. Those are dollars that go in the bank. That's what helps pay.
And have we already reconciled the 25-26 school year?
Not quite yet. We still, as a matter of fact, today we got an invoice for $10,000 that we did not have.
For what, Robert?
An invoice had to do with fencing that had not shown up. So we get those
Regularly?
once in a while. Now much less than before. And you'll see in the report that outstanding balance has dropped. It's quite high before, but it's dropped, and we're trying to get those items out the door with the funds that are available in the account.
Does this budget address any of those items that are outstanding?
No, sir,
No?
does not.
Yes, sir.
When do you think we're having the next board meeting?
I would,
I know we have one on the 31st,
31st.
so we're gonna wait to the 34th or have another.
31st is the next one unless,
If we have something before, we'll get it over to the superintendent's office and they can forward it. It's just information for you.
the next regular board meeting for September is 14th, right? The 31st is a special board meeting?
It's a special board meeting that we set aside to do budget amendments, but it doesn't mean we can't add other items to the agenda.
Okay.
We want to close with as many invoices for this past year and beyond as possible so that they are incurred before the expiration of the audit, which we have an auditor present. We want to make sure we got all those accounted for. Now, there is a possibility, there's a grant that's fallen behind that we may have to incur the cost of those items in order to get reimbursed and set that up as a due from as we reach the threshold of 1 year to the next. If those funds aren't received by then, those are usually can be booked as due from state or due from whatever the grant is, if we incur that cost. But the district has to fund and front those dollars first before we get reimbursed.
And which grant is that for?
That was a TECHI grant. They call it TECHI. I'm not sure exactly. Homeless? Is that homeless? Homeless. Not very big, but it's still money.
It's not the one that Mr. Fernandez was working on.
I'm working on a safety grant, sir.
That's a different one.
For 500,000.
Yes, sir. That's a separate grant.
And just for information purposes, that invoice that came in, that work hasn't been completed. We moved that work to the grant, so we don't know that money.
Great.
Good. Great.
Have any discussion, any
Yeah,
questions?
for clarification on that one, are you talking about the fence around the old grammar school?
No, sir. No, sir. This invoice was for the automation of the gates, but that work was never completed, so that's why that they invoiced us for it, but the work was never completed, so I already spoke to the vendor and we moved it over to the grant.
Okay.
To get funded for that.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the budget? Any questions? Do you have a motion to adopt the 2026, 2027 budget?
A motion to adopt the 2026-2027 budget.
Second?
Second.
Second made by Mr. Houston. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Still trying to read it.
Item 6E, discussion and action to approve an order calling a tax ratification election on November 3rd, 2026.
All right, so we have our attorney Rose Kanuski here from McCall Parkers to advise us.
Mr. President, members of the board, Mr. Grill, it's a pleasure to be back here. You should have an order in your board packet. It's a formality because you've already triggered a voter approval tax election, which I do call a vouchery. The order memorializes the decision and the tax rate. It also recognizes that you're contracting with your county to conduct the election for you. I wanted to draw your attention to the second page of the order. About the middle of the page is where you'll find the actual ballot language. This is mandated by statute, and it's quite a mouthful. The other thing I wanted to point out is that by law, we are required to say at the top of this language, this is a tax increase in all capital letters, and the remaining portion of the ballot is in regular upper and lower case. The way my office prefers to do it is to put the mandated statute as part of the title being the name of the district, Opposition A. Whether we get what we want largely depends on the programming and the computer system that your county has. And I don't know yet whether it's going to be part of that title or a separate line, but it's going to be at the top before the rest of the ballot language. So the ballot language does include the total rate that you've just approved. It indicates that it's going to be an increase in the maintenance and operations tax revenue of just over 24%, and that the anticipated revenue in dollars will be just over $1.8 million. So voters will be voting for or against that ballot. Yes, sir.
And this is required by state law that tax might increase, right?
Yes. So both, this is a tax increase in all capitals, like we're shouting at the voters. That's a legal requirement. And then the way the ballot is worded, to me, is awkward, but that's what's required by statute. One of the things that we have done is added the purpose, not in a way that I think is advocacy, because once you take a vote and order the election, then the ethics rules come into play that we've talked about before. It's an opportunity for us to tell the voters that the purpose is for maintaining and operating the district. I don't think it's necessarily clear in the statutory language that that's the real reason you're doing it.
Have any questions, additional information, sir, or anything? Anything else, miss? No?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Do we have a motion?
A motion to approve an order calling the tax certification election on November 3rd, 2026.
Second? Second by Mr. Gabriel Espinosa. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item 6F, discussion and action to approve an order calling an election to be held on November 3rd, 2026 for the purpose of electing 3 at-large Board of Trustees. Anything?
Okay, I believe that we have Mr. Bonilla, Mr. Espinoza, and Mr. Houston as incumbents. We'll be calling the election. It'll be the same day as the Vader election on November 3rd.
So move.
Motion made by Mr. Bonilla, second by Mr. Gabriel Espinosa. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Item 6G, discussion and action to approve the property casualty insurance rates for 26-27.
All right, this is the Robert Velasquez show, so. I'll make you some.
This is a
Doesn't help a lot.
agreement between Crystal City ISD and Property Casualty, which is almost like a co-op. And the district several years ago engaged in it. It's like a 5-year plan. If you look at page 67, the presentation says 26-27 in the middle, and the prior year is really dark, but if the prior year amounts way at the bottom, last year's rate was at $464,975. This year, the projected amount or the proposed amount is $430,590. This covers buildings, electrical data, cybersecurity, vehicles, law enforcement liability, employee dishonesty, money and securities, forgery and alterations, fraud, and it's per occurrence, it's auto liability as well. All of these items that I mentioned, and there, it's for a total of 430,000 versus the 464,000 last year, at least $34,000 less. The details and the deductibles on the following pages. You need is a recommendation.
Is that, sir? Where are they here? I don't know if there's anybody here.
Not here for today.
Not here?
We have others that are nothing.
Okay. In the past, sir, have there been any claims put in for the auditorium, and do you know if because of all the issues that it's facing?
I don't believe so, sir, because of the litigation, I suspect, but haven't been privy to that, so I don't know. I wouldn't be able to answer.
What about the burned old field house? Was it through them or?
Yes, the field house, the old building that burned was through them. When I came in last year, I found out, contacted them, and they said they had already provided the funds for that claim to the district. I explored a little further and I asked, I need money to remove the debris. And they agreed, but we had to come up with a plan and an estimated cost of rebuilding it before they can give us a portion to remove the debris. So there is money sort of allocated on the side, but we probably need to move faster.
It's falling apart, the ball season's come, it can be.
But it's a
Get some-
pricey item to take up.
You said there's money set aside, and that's not the insurance claim, is it? The insurance claim?
Yeah, the insurance.
So have it
They set aside, I called them up for it and they said, well, we'll set aside so much for it.
for this.
You have to submit a proposal to them of a cost, a very close cost to replace it, since they've already provided the funds that it was covered for.
Can we get the money just to remove it and then later on?
We
plan?
they won't do it.
No, Desmond wants new field house, but, right? With the burn money? Money of the old field house?
Okay,
That it, sir?
that's it, sir.
Do we have a motion? Mr. Gabriel Espinosa, second. Second by Mr. Munilla. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Discussion action, item 6H, discussion and action to approve the selection for RFQ 27-001, annual financial audit services.
That was put out, Ms. Estrada contacted area school districts, and you'll see it on page 84, the different agencies that she contacted. None of them provided a response, and some said they wouldn't, and some said they were busy. The gentleman that brought us a proposal is, of course, Mr. Eid. He hand-delivered that proposal, and is on page 85.
85?
I'm sorry, that's the evaluation that we produced. But the rest of the proposals are there, or the mention of them.
I know, Mr.
The
Eid.
recommendation that we've made.
Okay. Is there any, would you like to say anything?
Say it, Mr. Eid.
He was the only person that turned in a packet.
Okay.
He's been y'all's auditor for previous years, so I would recommend you accept the RFP.
Okay.
So your
Do I have a motion?
recommendation is that,
Sir?
the recommendation is that we,
Yes, sir.
okay, I motion.
Motion made by Mr. Ray Espinosa, second by Mr. Sammy Houston. Discussion? All in favor?
I abstain.
All opposed? Mr. Espinosa, did you vote?
Yes, sir.
Motion carries 6-0-1. Item 6I, discussion and action to approve selections for the request for proposal for the 2026-2027 school year for purchases and services for those items listed below. It's a lot.
The first item that you see on there is RFP number 27. That's the fiscal year 2010-01 is student insurance. In the past, the district would provide coverage for all children, all activities. Due to the financial position the district is in, that has been minimized, reduced. The agent is here. The agents actually are here if you have questions and they'd like to provide you some information. But it does cover UIL athletics band. Okay. There's some catastrophic pieces to this one in case something more significant than just a casual injury.
Good evening, Superintendent, board members. I'm Jeff Johnson with the brokerage store. Jeff Store is my associate. In years past, y'all have had the top plan, and it covered all school, K through 12. It covered all your students all the time. In discussions with Roberto, we have decided that we could switch to a slightly lesser plan, and we will cover UIL sports. We'll still cover your K through 12 students on their field trips for learning. So the K through 12, it would be covered, all the students. But for UIL sports, that sort of thing, we would cover grades 7 through 12, because that's where the UIL is. That's where most of our claims come from. We get very few claims from the kiddos walking down the hall. Usually the school nurse, take care of bumps and bruises and skinned elbows. And if the going from the usual and customary plan down to the Houstonian plan would be taking 2 steps back. The coverage is still adequate. It's not the best, but it's still adequate. And most of our orthopedic surgeons and facilities in San Antonio, where your students go for their surgeries, take this as no balance billing. That is to say, if anybody doesn't have any other insurance, Medicaid, CHIPS, they take what we pay them and don't go after mom and dad. The same thing goes true for our company, our brace company called MedX. And that we offer a $500 benefit across the board on all our plans. And the same thing goes true there. So if somebody has an expensive knee brace, for example, they have a ACL tear in their knee, is very substantial injury. A custom brace could be $1,700 to $1,800. They take the $500 and don't go after mom and dad. They sell every brand known to man in the state for braces as well. In addition, the catastrophic kicks in at $25,000. And you also have 2 additional benefits on the catastrophic. You have catastrophic cash option in the event of a spinal cord injury, brain death, coma. It pays the parents cash money in addition to the medical benefits of up to $500,000 if the case they need to buy a special van, special wheelchair beds, widen the doorways in their homes, that sort of thing, to accommodate a child who's undergone, say, a spinal cord injury or brain stem injury. And lastly would be the felonious assault benefit, which is a $10 million benefit for medical. There's additional benefits for death, AD&D, counseling, that sort of thing. We all recall that Uvalde is very close to here. And without becoming too macabre, we want to help that. When that happened there, you had many survivors, and just the helicopter ride to San Antonio on the survivors was over $100,000 per person. Okay, this covers up to $10 million in medical benefits for up to 10 years, in addition to the other benefits there. So in summary, taking a step back benefits-wise, but still adequate, and retaining the same catastrophic umbrella, which we believe is very crucial to your students. May I answer any questions that y'all might have?
Wanted a clarification, sir, on you said the grade 7 through 12, those are the athletes?
Yes, well, it's not just athletes. It's your UIL activities. You want to play.
Okay.
Your sports, okay? In addition, we also cover FFA, ROTC, vocational education classes, that sort of thing as well. They're all included in that. I'm not sure if y'all do spring football or 7-on-7. Both are covered. So, okay, and there's a few non-UIL things that we still cover, such as powerlifting. There's not technically non-UIL. We do cover it. Always have. Anything else?
And you mentioned we're going from the UNC plan to the Houstonian plan?
Correct. It's 2 steps back. It's our 3rd best plan out of 5. And again, even though it's not the best, it still has the benefit levels, and it will be taken as payment in full for our orthopedic surgeons and the facilities that they work in. 99% of your kids go to San Antonio for their surgeries.
So what insurance or what protection does the district have if a student falls and rolls their ankle or breaks their ankle or breaks a leg or something? What do we have in terms of protecting the district in that end?
You mean from a liability standpoint?
Yes, from liabilities.
Oh, excellent question. Thank you. You all have sovereign immunity. So you're an independent school district, you really cannot be sued. And you don't really, I mean, honestly, you don't have you are not forced to buy this insurance. Out of 1,100 school districts in the state, probably 200 don't buy anything. But again, you're fielding teams. I know this is a very caring community, and 99% of our folks still do buy the insurance to some degree or other. So this is more from an accidental medical point of view instead of a liability. Okay, sir.
Does this cover like when they go to UIL competition? Because I'm reading student athletic excellence. So they go like to a competition, reading, writing.
Yes, all UIL competitions, including overnight competitions. Now, there are a couple of exclusions, like there always are in insurance. If they're out there chasing each other with fire extinguishers in the hall at nighttime, not a covered accident, okay? And, no skydiving, no drag racing, no 3 and 4-wheel motorcycles, that sort of thing. And those are not covered, but that's very standard in our business.
Thank you.
Is band considered UIL? Not sure.
Band is, band, cheer, dance, flag team, all of it, all considered covered, indeed.
You.
And we are the only ones in the state that have a separate concussion benefit, which you would think, okay, football players, right? But also volleyball,
Soccer.
basketball, soccer. So indeed, concussions are probably 15 to 18% of our claims. Football's about 70%, but some of those football claims are also concussion. Okay, sir.
Do we get a discount because we don't have soccer?
It's based on the number of, the size of your school district and your premium and loss ratio. So, no, so the answer to your question is, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I don't have any additional questions, but Mr. Velasquez, is this budgeted it's in our budget?
Yes, I did.
Sir, if I may?
Yes.
By making this one change to a different level, you're saving 24% in premium.
Much?
24.
24%. Per year. This is an annual premium. So it's a 24% cost savings to the district.
What's the annual premium?
Ma'am?
What's the annual premium?
Oh, well, the base plan is $34,500. Catastrophic would be $4,108. Okay. They help you?
That's it. I don't have any additional questions. I don't know if anybody else does.
I'm fine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Oh, we won't take action on this one separate. I guess, Mr. Groh, you're gonna present every single RFP and then we'll take action on all of them, or did you want us to take
I think you
action?
can do it in one blanket motion.
Okay.
Let me just mention the items you see listed below. That's a standard we put out throughout the public, in the newspaper, our website. We did not have as many participants. We try to hit the locals as much as possible, but we also anticipate outside agencies providing services. We did not have as many. We may have to put this out again for services that we did not get a quote. Okay, just an FYI.
And that was my next, I saw a lot that have a no bid. I guess the plan is to go out for bids again, right? And until we
We may
hopefully,
do it as piecemeal as we need it, but we may have to just put another blanket out there and solicit for more proposals.
and in terms of, one of them for no bid is vehicle maintenance repairs. What is the district doing to maintain the vehicles now, or what will we be doing?
What the district has done in this last year, they contract or they hire or take buses to Eagle Pass. There's a vendor there that works on buses, specifically buses. So they take them at a time. Sometimes their mechanic will be in the area and they only address it here. Other than that, we don't have a mechanic. The district does not have a mechanic on staff.
So Martinez,
Sir,
can we open a position for a mechanic? My understanding, vehicles that they take, they'll go back in about a month or whatever.
I don't think that the budget will be able to sustain another position right now. I think that's part of the,
Red ink.
yeah, it'll be more red ink in here.
Maybe compare what we're paying over there. And
Sir, I was against agenda.
That particular deal is not on the agenda item.
well,
Speaking of, in terms of what the district is doing for all these that we do not have a bid, the district does have a plan in place to, if something comes up or something that needs to, like with this herbicide control,
Yes.
if we need to take care of any issues in that term,
Like one at a time as we need that.
okay.
So at the moment, you're asking for a motion for the student insurance?
No, it's in all of them at one time. Item 6I, it's a discussion action to approve selection, all of the RFP. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Motion made by Mr. by Mr. Bonilla, second. Second made by Gabriel Espinosa. Discussion? All four? Sorry. All opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Item 6J, discussion action to adopt the addition, deletion, or replacement of local policies according to TASB Localized Update 127 instruction sheet.
Okay, this one's actually me. So I went over update 127 with you all last month. If you have any questions, recommended language from TASB.
We have a motion?
A motion to adopt the to delete or whatever, or replacement of local policies according to TASB localized update 127, instruction sheet.
Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Espinosa. All four? All opposed? Motion carries 7-0. On to item 7B, Conservators Report. TA.
I thought Mr. Hines was gonna go.
Mr. Hines is first.
He's gonna go first.
I don't have a report tonight. I was giving my time to Dr. Reyna.
First of all, I just want to say good evening to our board president, Mr. Martinez, board members, and also to Mr. Grill, and extend a big congratulations. You know why? You passed your budget. Even though there's a little bit of a deficit in there, there is a plan to fix that. Additionally, you also adopted the motion to ask for a voter approval tax rate election. Congratulations, because that's also going to be a remedy to the deficit that you have. So again, let me just say that through all of this, it hasn't been done in isolation. The staff has worked very hard, including Mr. Grill, and all of us working very hard to make sure that all of these financial recovery efforts have been put in place. I think that we're in a place where we can honestly see light at the end of the tunnel. There have been everything from implementing a RIF, which I knew took a brave step from the board to do that, but it was also very necessary. And I think that you all have shown that you are willing to take those kinds of steps when it is necessary. Also, the idea that you cut the stipends 50%, the idea of reducing the district contribution in health insurance, looking for all of those excesses in all of the departments and the consolidation of the elementary school to the new Crystal City Elementary School. Those are significant milestones that we've reached since April in a very short period of time. And that speaks to not only the work of the staff, the work of the interim superintendent, and then of course your support to make all of that happen. So now we talk about what's next. So again, now comes the finer tuning, and what's next is the auditing of the efficiency of all of the departments. All of those departments, you know, sometimes when you're inside, you don't see what might be done in a different way. And what we need to do is make sure that now we're looking at those kinds of efficiencies such that we can guarantee that every department and every aspect of the school district is running efficiently. And we have some good ways to look at that in the sense of not only the Mokasey report, but also just what are those research-based best practices in everything from the business office to the transportation to the maintenance to all of those areas that do drain a budget when not efficiently operated, but certainly support the system in a way that we obviously need to have happen. That's the course of action that we're going to be taking for the next few months. We will be welcoming a new superintendent, and certainly some of those decisions will be made under that leadership such that that individual is able to adjust the administrative and leadership style to that person's style. So I come here with good news in that a lot of those big milestones and big rocks have been moved, and now we just continue to fine tune and continue to work with you. So thank you. Any questions of me?
I have a comment. I don't know if it was you or Mr. Hines, but I think it was him. I think today, there was a couple of people from Region 20 that brought a lot of supplies to some of the teachers at the, what do we call it now? Crystal City Elementary School. I heard good comments from staff members, like especially the Benito Juarez, that were getting a lot of stuff from Region 20.
I don't know, Mr. Ryan, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, well, we've got two different things going on. Instructional material coming in with the LIFT grant, and then we've got a lot of instructional materials coming in for the life skills classes at the elementary campus. So they're getting a significant amount of materials, and we've got to organize it, and then throughout the year, make sure that we're using it effectively and efficiently. But Region 20 has been a tremendous help in getting things organized, getting things turned around, getting that LIFT team together. It's a significant amount of manpower that's going to be helping out the schools this year.
Yeah, thank you. I just heard very positive comments from the teachers that, especially Benito Juarez, that are now over here. Today.
I think that's just another piece of evidence that when everyone is working in the same direction for the same purpose with that mission-centered attitude, that we get things done. And certainly the LIFT grant, the Region 20 cooperation, I was on the phone today with Region 20 about some other resources to come forth. So again, it is that concerted effort, but it's also led by the leadership as well as the board willing to do what we need to get done to ensure that this district is successful. So I thank you, and now we turn the page to the next phase, and we're standing with you 100%.
Dr. Reyna, I do have one question, and you mentioned right now that the next steps is to audit the different departments and everything, and to see how they affect the budget and in terms of, future, or how we can lighten the budget in those senses. What was the reasoning and why not starting to address some of those audits and efficiencies in the past couple of months that could have helped the budget now?
We have. But let me just share with you too, is that this is kind of like putting gas in the airplane as you're flying the airplane. All of these efforts as far as developing the risk guidelines, all of the expectations to develop a tax rate, to make sure that the VADR is done appropriately. All of that takes a taxing on the staff, and the staff has to be allowed to be able to do the work that they need to do without all of this other kind of information that is necessary to pull from them. Have we been watching this? Yes. Have we been watching it such that we're guiding? Yes. Do I think Mr. Velasquez on my speed dial? Yes. But the truth of the matter is that you have to measure that so that you're not imposing these kinds of measures on the staff when they're actually trying to do the work. And I think that that is indicative of every one of the staff members who's been asked to take on more to be able to shore things up, but also to ensure that they are planning the correct plans. And then on top of all of that, plan to start the school year, the next school year. When I go into an audit, it is sit down with me. What are you doing here? Show me this, do that. Now, we can guide, but not wanting to impose that level of conversation, that level of expectation for performance to answer to an audit but to watch it, to make sure that there are those internal controls, that there, all of these kinds of things that we're putting in place. The fact that a sender is going to come in, the training for a sender, that's an internal control. The fact that we're looking at what kind of allocations are in place, the idea of let's put those side by side. How many people do we have staff here? How many people do we staff there? They're already gathering that. All of that is part of correcting practices when they're not done right. Hiring in the HR department, did you call a committee? Did you interview the the persons? Did you have an outline of the questions that you're going to ask? All those questions are also part of an auditing process, which we're all asked, but it's not the imposition of, okay, now show me this, show me that, show me this, and literally having those conversations with every one of those individuals. So next we're moving into the much more, now here are the new policies and procedures that we're creating and putting it in writing, memorializing, so that you're not asking them to not only do the work, but then to also create the system at the same time. That's really that was really the plan all along.
Okay.
Any other question?
I don't have any questions.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You,
Item 7C, CFO reports.
I included in the agenda. The timing was not working well with the agency, with the banks. Get a job, it's gonna hand it out to you. I've got County Bank, Lone Star, and not Lone Star, sorry, the Tech School and Prime Bank on the, and this is FYI for your information. I do want to call the attention to page 130 on the agenda. And that's the Lone Star report. Item I want to look at or point to is the general fund debt service, the 3.9 million that, we had a little bit of discussion on. We do have bills that are coming out this month, actually this week by Friday. We have got to pay our second half of the bond payments for the year. And that's about 676,000 combined in those two. That'll come out of there. And at the bottom of that same page, the general fund, we're only at 481,000. We've got a payroll that's due this Friday, and that's going to get pretty much by that, if not a little more. Any questions on that report? If you don't,
I have a question, Robert, on the payroll. I know, we're supposed to finish with what we got from the state budget. When do we start getting for the new school year?
from the state, we start September and October.
When do they send the money?
The 25th of every month. That's when they pay.
When something passed, like, let's try to send it earlier so that sometimes we get it, sometimes there was a discussion.
There's the ASF, the Available School Fund. That one comes in monthly, but it's a very small amount. Like I said, for the whole year, this coming year, it's approximately 813,000. That'll be cut out into the different months. So it isn't a big amount.
But the discussion was, the first one, we usually get it, like in September, the middle of September. And I know teachers were asking for supplies materials. There was a discussion that in TA, they were gonna try to move it so they could get it in August, the middle of August, but not start using it until.
This month, we should have a settle up sort of for the year, for this last year, the final payment, which is what I'm referring to as September, October, and August. So this August, we'll get some money, but that's pretty much already spoken for. We're covering this payroll with pittance that we have left. That's gonna come in August and help us pay the end of the August and having any bills that we can accommodate and have some money for September 15th available. Because we won't have any money till the end of the month, till the 25th. Okay, so we'll have to reserve some money for that. That's our cash flow, so to speak.
Robert, have we already gone back to payroll once a month like Mr. Grill recommended?
No, ma'am, the district, the board, it would require board action. It has not been. It would be very helpful for the funding, for funds, but no, the board has not decided that, not, no.
In terms of settle up, I know there was a 500,000 settle up that we were anticipated or TA. Where were we with that? Did we making any headway?
They had a question and two cash flow examples that I sent. I'll contact the gentleman tomorrow. The amount that we showed him, one showed that no deduction. We had a balance at the time of about 390 some odd $1,000 that we had anticipated, if we didn't get surprise bills, having by the end of August 31st. If they took 250, we'd be left with about $143,000. And we would hope that it wait a little further. TA may come in and take that amount or a portion of that amount this year, this August, or they may reduce it from the payments that are coming next year. To be honest, I wish they'd take it next year, settle up. But it's not uncommon to have those fluctuations in funding. As long as you've got a healthy fund balance, you can cover that and you don't feel it.
Yeah.
At this time, we will. Okay, on page 138 is the component of the current outstanding bills at the time this report was done. Earlier this afternoon, Ms. Estrada mentioned that we were approximately at $800,000. That's from bills that we generated last week, okay? This is only Monday. We've pushed out as well. That's from the millions that we carried and incurred this year as well, which is a big improvement.
Some of that, Robert, on the bills, I mean, I know we have some from the, I don't know, the 24, 25 school year.
Yes.
Have we taken care of those first, or we're focusing on 25, 26?
We're trying to focus on the urgent bills, the ones that'll say they'll shut us down.
The ones that.
But we are taking care of some of those as well as the vendors allow us. And we need the service, and some of them are willing to say, okay, we'll wait. I understand.
You're focusing on.
Have any of these vendors stopped working with the district or mentioned that they are? I mean, I see Cintas on here multiple times and.
I spoke to, we actually, Estrada and I met with the group. The contract that was signed was not a proper contract, it was a 5-year term contract. And we visited with them and we explained that, you know, that's not kosher in this industry. We do annual for those such services. There's some sort of services such as insurances, you can set up a plan such as that, not this particular service. And they were very receptive. They planned for the year and they planned for 5 years and they bought product, mops and whatever, all those items. So they've got that inventory because back then they anticipated a larger number. We spoke to them and they were very willing to work with the district. They said we could adjust between 50 to 70% of the original amount of product we needed. So they're willing to reduce the items, which would reduce costs to the district. We also explained that we no longer have one of the elementary facilities to take care of, to tend to. So they understood that as well. So we will anticipate, or we do anticipate having lower costs in that area. So they are willing to work with us and they understand the payment process that we currently are incurring processing. On page 139 is a recap of the bond, I'm sorry, the loan status that we acquired this year, the 4.5. We've paid, we have about $20,000 in interest we got to pay this week before the end of the week. That's interest. We're already received the 4.5 million, and that's pretty much all going directly to payroll.
So the district is paying the interest fees, interest as it comes in?
We've done
Nah.
2 payments, we got another one coming up. That's fine, that will reduce.
Yeah.
On page 140, you'll notice that the time the proceeds were received in May 15th and June 15th, and in July the 15th we received.
What about in Zavala that or
Not this year.
we didn't have to?
We didn't have, we needed, just these funds, we could use more, but we did not go out for more.
No, let's go
We're leaving them in the back burner.
on next.
That's all I have for you as far as that information. Like I said, I provided this to you and I apologize, we did not make the cut for the timeline. Any questions?
Thank you, Robert.
Robert. Item 7D, Superintendent's Report.
Sure. So I laid at your desk a two-pager for my superintendent report. So tomorrow I'll be hosting a town hall meeting. This will be my third town hall meeting in 5 months that I've been here. Couple that with, as of today, I've done 3 faculty-wide meetings. So trying to take advantage of the conversations we're having tonight and assuming that people who are in attendance virtually listening in on the board meeting tonight, I felt it'd be prudent to discuss the tax rate, both the M&O, the INS tax rate, and also the Vader. So that way, while it's hot topic news tonight, the other point that I want to discuss about the Vader is the average home in our community here is 94,400 and change. And so the average increase to that homeowner is $43 annually. So that's $3.58 a month. And so basically that's a breakfast taco a month for the Vader. So I just want to go over the impact of the taxes so people understand. And I've had really good attendance at my town hall meetings, so I will soon, we'll have those there. We'll televise it as well for those who can't make the town hall. I also want to take an opportunity to thank the community for the kind and welcoming manner that I've incurred here in the community. Okay, so on page 141 of your board packet is the legal fees year to date. We'll have a special board meeting, as we briefly mentioned earlier, on August 31st. And the primary objective of that meeting is to do the annual budget amendments. That requires board approval, and typically you want to do that as late in the fiscal year, so the 31st is the last date that can be done. That's to prepare for the audit that'll come next winter. Also want to convey what I see as the 3-year recovery plan, and Dr. Reyna spoke to this as well. Financial problems that the district is in didn't happen in a year or two. It happened over a period of time. And so to get out of this problem is going to take a couple years. And so you have some big bites that need to be taken care of first. First and foremost, the $4.5 million loan to Prime Bank plus the interest at 7%. We promised them that we would make those installments and get them paid by December or by Christmas, let's put it that way. And so with that, the district has to pay back the 2.7 million and change back to fund balance, to the fund balance for INS. We have 1.2 million plus in vendor debt that is in your board packet each month. I can tell you these vendors, they want to get paid. And so do we have enough money to pay them all right now? No. But with that, then we have to look at what other means and what vehicles can we put in place to strengthen our financial position. And so in this proposal is to go to a July 1st budget next summer. So that means the budget you adopted tonight is a 12-month budget, but by moving to a July 1st, you're going to collapse 2 months of benefits and payroll and operation expenses, which will allow you to cash in and pay down, hopefully, these vendors. You have a lot of deferred maintenance in the district. So you're not going to get all this done next year. And, our employees, their salaries have been frozen, their stipends have been slashed in half. And so we're asking them to step up to the plate and work with the district. And I will tell you, after doing the convocation today, the spirits in the district are high. I was very pleased that there wasn't this mopey, it stinks to work here type attitude. And, really our turnover this summer has not been great compared to what I anticipated it would be. I thought there'd be more attrition. So it really shows the resolve of your teachers and staff. So with that, helping them, because I asked them to come to the town hall meeting tomorrow night because I didn't want to be Debbie Downer and talk money today at convocation. So going through this plan with them and helping them see the light at the end of the tunnel. So if you remember the very first night you met me back in early April, the first thing I said was a vision without a plan is merely a dream. And so I'm laying the plan out for the vision to get out of this financial problem. And of course, I won't be here. This will be something that the torch is carried on by Dr. Miller, and he may modify or change this plan, but this is what I foresee is the plan to accomplish what we need to accomplish. Once we get these big one-time expenses paid off, prime bank, deferred maintenance, the INS fund balance, those one-time expenses go away, and now you have that money in your budget to start bringing back the salaries, putting them back into play, maybe bringing the health insurance benefits up. The one thing you can't do is add more people. You cannot go back like you did in time and start hiring more people. We are running a tight ship. We didn't cut but 4 teaching positions. All those other positions were paraprofessional positions. And I can tell you that the teachers will be just fine. There were questions at my last town hall meeting right after the RIP from parents about, that's going to hurt instruction. Our campuses aren't doing very well academically. Well, the instructional aides aren't the teachers. We didn't cut teaching positions. So the class sizes aren't going to increase. The teacher loads are not going to increase. It just means the work, the periphery work that these paraprofessionals were doing is put on the shoulders of other paraprofessionals, the office staff. Now, I foresee by school year 28-29, you'll be putting money into fund balance. That way, hopefully by then, the litigation on the construction deficiencies are settled and y'all can start fixing things or moving in that direction. So I just want to lay that out, give you in my parting days here what I foresee as the plan. This isn't the plan that you've adopted. This is the plan Richard Grill is just suggesting, okay? So lastly, and I put it in writing, but I'm just going to speak from the heart. I've grown attached to this community and to the teachers and staff. It was so refreshing today to be with the teachers and kidding around with them. And we all had some laughs at my expense, and that was part of the design of things. But I will tell you that I enjoyed the moments that I had. And I really haven't had that much time with the teachers. I come in 6 weeks before school starts, and I'm leaving right as school's fixing to begin. So, it was refreshing to me to be somewhat still of a stranger to them, for them to be so engaged with me today. It was very heartfelt. And, Vince was there present, a lot of smiles, a lot of handshakes, a lot of thank yous out of people's mouths. And so I can tell you, when I go into the HEB, when I go out to eat, the people here have been so welcoming to me. And that's where I believe this community is going to come together and support you as a school district innovator. I believe that the school is going to be okay because we're projecting a $1.3 million deficit, but the Vader's going to bring in almost 1.9 million. So when you couple that toward the end of the school year, that month, that cash flow starts to come in, and that takes care of that deficit. And then you condense 2 months of operating back into your budget. Do you see where you're going to be in the black this spring? You can be. Now, my departure means Dr. Miller and his staff are going to have to do their part to keep the momentum of the Vader going. But I believe this community is going to support it. And I can tell you that just the people and the friendliness in this community, if they were mad about the message that I've been communicating at these town hall meetings, they wouldn't give me the time of day, but they are just the opposite. I believe that they're going to come together for the betterment of the school. And, you know, the last thing I can say is I've worked in 6 different school districts now, and I have never seen a community that is more proud of its school. Everywhere I go, there's people with Crystal City shirts on or Crystal City caps on. They're wearing the green and gold. I've lived in the Bandera community 26 years, and you see that only on football days. And so I know, again, this community is behind this school. They're proud of this school, and they're not going to let this school falter and close. And so I want to say thank you to the board for putting your trust in me. I want to thank the staff for your efforts and working with me and helping us get the job done. It's been a tough road. Dr. Reyna and John Hines, we talk weekly, and we arm wrestle over subjects at times, but at the end, we're all 3 committed to the district. And I know that they're going to carry that torch for 24 months with the district. And again, they're going to ensure that y'all stay focused on the ball and making sure that we accomplish as a district what needs to be accomplished, both academically and financially. And thank you again for your trust in me.
Oh, no, thank you.
How was your jacket? Did it fit?
You know, I sent that to my family and they got a big hoot out of it too. So, you know, I've been bugging Coach. I said, man, I'd like to have a shirt or a cap or something just so I can say I worked there, right? And
all out.
And so he got me a couple of shirts last week, and you know, luckily y'all have a scrimmage Thursday night, so I can make the scrimmage and wear some of the garb that I got. So today he pulled out this letter jacket, and it's a size medium. Well, I haven't worn a size medium since I was in junior high, so I did get in it, and I could stretch it tight enough. And the teachers were laughing. It was a great moment. It was a lot of fun. And I will tell you that I was proud. I offered it back to Coach. He said, go ahead and keep it. So it'll go in my little trophy case. My wife is, through the years, she takes all the shirts from different places I've worked, and she makes quilts out of them.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, I have these quilts. They're more mementos. And, you know, as I go back to retirement, it's something for me to memorialize and think, yes, I was there. I did those things. That was a great ride. And thank you, Coach, for what you gave me. But again, the letter jacket was like the cherry on top. It was a lot of fun.
And Mr. Grill, on behalf of the board, I just want to thank you for these past couple of months. You know, it's been, like you said, about 100 days. And in those 100 days, we've probably spoken about 80 of those days. Yeah. So, you know, just your honesty and transparency. Your honesty and transparency has been not only us, the board, the community and staff, you know, and we've seen a big change, I guess, in the way that we've been presented information, and the openness that you shared with us from the beginning has been very much appreciated on my end, and I think I can speak for the other 6 members of the board. It's very much needed, and thank you. Just thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir.
Appreciate it.
Now, item 6E, back to school activities.
Okay, Sarah, real briefly.
Get it up there.
That's a big smile, yo.
Good evening. Mr. Grill asked me to put together a calendar of events that are coming up in August. We have an extremely busy last 3 weeks in August. And I gotta thank Matthew Moreno for putting it very nicely and very pretty on this calendar. As you see, this week we had a convocation today. It was a teacher work day. We did have our T-test refresher training for administrators. Tomorrow we have campus professional development where our campus administrators will review their SOPs, standard operating procedures, SOPs. We also have a volleyball game against Carrizo. Wednesday, I'm trying to go as brief as possible. We will have several trainings for content, K through 12. We will also have tennis against Hondo at Hondo, probably after 6 p.m. because now the UIL rules have also changed to where I believe if it's over 92 degrees, students cannot play until it's less than 92 degrees. On the 13th, we have more trainings, K through 5 and K to 12. On the 14th, we have more trainings. We also have our PLC protocol with Region 20. We have our scrimmage against Dilley, football scrimmage. And then we move on to August 17th, we have a teacher work day. August 18th, we have more trainings and PLC protocols for junior high and high school. We also have volleyball against Eagle Pass, and CCHS will have their open house. On the 19th, we have our GT training, GT refresher training at the junior high library. We also have our NCI for special ed and administrators. We will have our junior high open house. And then on the 20th, we have more campus professional development at the campuses. Then we also have a volleyball tournament against Divine at Divine. We have a football scrimmage against Ingram, Moore, and La Pryor. We have our Crystal City Elementary open house. On the 21st, we have another teacher work day. And then we have volleyball. Volleyball also has their continued training at Divine. They will also have their Border Olympics, cross country has their Border Olympics run, and then volleyball will continue their Divine tournament. Then we get to the 24th, it's the first day of school for students. On the 26th, we have tennis at Uvalde. On the 27th, we have volleyball at Laredo. On the 28th, which is the Friday, we have volleyball at Laredo. We have football at Cotula. We have cross country at Eagle Pass. Then Saturday on the 29th, we have volleyball at Laredo. Something that was not included in here is that we are planning our Meet the Javelina night. More than likely, it's going to land on August 21st. We just need to solidify that date and get everything planned out. But that is coming up. I strongly encourage you to go and support our kids. They need to see all of us out there. I did put on, I think Ana Carlos put on your spots, CCHS's updated calendar. On August 12th, they're having a dual credit meeting at 5 p.m. And then August 17th, they're having their freshman orientation in the morning. They're having their graduation requirements for seniors only in the afternoon. August 18th, they're having a welcome and open house. August 20th, they're having Meet the Campus Leadership Team from 9:30 to 10:30 in the morning, and then from 2 to 3:30. And that'll be it. Any questions for me?
Busy time of year.
Yeah, no, just thank you for everything. And I didn't get a chance to say this morning, but thank you for your words, your slogan of stronger together. It rings true to what needs to be done right now, right? So just wanted to tell you thank you and everything.
Thank you. And I gotta pass it on to Matthew.
Let's go get copies on the 21st.
Okay. Matthew Moreno, we were having that conversation and we're like, we need a theme. And he's like, how do I have this together? And then we kind of went out and researched a couple of other things, but that one just kind of rang true to where we are this year and the incoming years. So we can only be stronger if we are together. So.
Real quick, are these things put on the newspaper as well?
I don't know if they have been, but we will get them out to Facebook.
Yeah, there's
Media and
a lot of people don't have Facebook or electronic, so if you can,
We'll put them up on the second
On
end.
the Sentinel.
And then
Thank you.
invitation for our community pet rally. For our kiddos.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Joe, can I give you one? Okay. Any other questions for me?
No, I think that's all for me. I don't know if anybody else has questions or, no, thank you. Item 7F, athletics update.
Okay, while coach is coming up, I will tell you, Coach Battle and I have had so many conversations and, you know, it's not just athletics, but I will say because athletics has so many of our students involved and the quantity of parents that come along with those students, this pay to play, not pay to play, it's bounced back and forth in my town hall meetings, since my town hall meetings. Again, this is something I'm gonna try to help clear the air tomorrow night at my town hall. But I just want to say out loud to the coach, thank you. I appreciate you negotiating all of this with your coaching staff, with the parents, and navigating through a minefield that none of us understood was there. But, you know, the bottom line is I think the community understands and parents understand we're broke, but how we accomplish our athletic program, because whether it's athletics, it's band, any of our other extracurricular activities, this is an adult problem, not a student problem. So I don't want the students to feel the pinch. I don't want the students to sense the burdens. And I know that high school kids, they're perceptual. They'll understand what's going on, but to the extent possible, Coach and his staff, and then the Booster Club have worked really hard trying to do the right thing, but it's come out at times the wrong way. And so hopefully we're getting that straightened out, and Coach is going to speak to that.
Oh, yeah, thank you guys. Welcome. Good evening, board. Our president, Mr. Grill. Thank you guys for having me. So I'm going to speak on the update for the athletic and the athletic expenses. So I had my parent meeting last week. We spoke about this. This is what I spoke about, the athletic expenses. We talked about the mileage per mile is $1.35. The driver trip is $125. Official fees can range from $125 to $250 per official per game. Tournament fees, $350 to $500 per tournament. Supply fees can range per team, per sport, for all 32 teams from $2,500 to $5,000.
Can we take a pause for that?
Yes, sir.
32 sports teams. I really wouldn't have guessed anywhere close to that. So, you know,
It's boys and girls, high school and junior high.
there's a lot of offerings for our kids at this point.
36 sports, yes, sir. Our UIL DEC dues, $10,000 every year. That's annually. Student insurance, $55,000. And our trainer expenses, we don't have a trainer right now, but the trainer expenses can range, what we used to pay from $80,000 to $75,000 per year. Our plan for the trainer right now is basically I told our parents at the parent meeting is we don't have a trainer on site. So what we're doing is we're telling our parents, if your kid gets hurt, your kid gets injured, we have to force them to go to the doctor and they have to come back to get cleared by the doctor. Prior to that, they can go to the trainer. The trainer could see them, look at them, see their injury, and probably not send them to the doctor. Because to go to the doctor, usually it's 2 to 3 weeks, no matter if it's a fingernail, it's a twisted ankle, anything like that. So the trainer would kind of slow that process down. But now that we don't have a trainer, any type of injury that we see, these type of things, a kid tells us this hurt, that hurts. Our go-to is saying, send the guys to go to the doctor, and you're not cleared to come back to practice or play and to get cleared by the doctor notes.
I have a comment on that. Are you gonna look for a trainer or we're just gonna go?
Our plan is to look for a trainer. I did
contact the company.
The company is no longer working with us anymore due to late fees and a basketball playoff game that they didn't see that was good for them. So they took their names out of the hat for Crystal City ISD to be a trainer. So I did ask around. They do have something similar in Corpus, but I didn't get a call back. And then just trying to find one trainer alone to come to Crystal City to come. It's been kind of difficult. So UIL doesn't require you to have a trainer. It's kind of encouraged, but they do also have other ways. If you want to have an RN on the field, they can't diagnose any injuries. They can't help you with the injuries, but they can just say, yes, that is it, or things like that. So that is one thing we did talk to Robert about. We do have RNs on our campus, but kind of budgeting for that trainer expenses as well. We're not doing meals unless the team leaves early enough to miss breakfast or lunch, and that will be provided to them. So if you leave early on the tournament, if you miss breakfast and lunch, it's no cost to them. They can go, all they have to do is put the meal request in to the, with the 10 days prior with the student IDs, and they'll get their meals for breakfast and lunch back to those guys as well. Next slide. Questions?
Got a quick question real quick on the no meals. Do they get a sack lunch? No sack.
If they leave if they miss their breakfast and lunch, yes, they can get a sack lunch. Unless the only way they can get a sack lunch is a la carte, because we're gonna have to pay for it. So if you want to get it free, you have to miss your meal, breakfast, or your lunch to get that sack lunch. Yes, sir.
Is it mandatory that we have a trainer?
No, it's not mandatory. It's encouraged, but it's not mandatory by UIL.
In terms of meals and things, you're saying a la carte, but has it ever been thought of to approach our culinary arts department to maybe make sandwiches in that side?
It hasn't been, but I'm sure there's a cost to buying the food and things like that. So it's still a cost. I don't know if they're gonna take that out of their CTE money to provide back to us. But no, that hasn't been brought up, no, sir. These are kind of our costs by mileage, per sport, per team. Football is JV and high school put together at our mileage for all our games, 4,500 or 4,800, sorry. And the driver costs, $3,000. And you can kind of see it goes down, it breaks down. Volleyball, 3,000. How much go the total is 5,000. Cross country, 4,000. Team tennis, 2,500. Boys basketball, girls basketball, 5,500. Golf, 4,200. Powerlifting, boys and girls, 6,100. Spring tennis, 75. Baseball, 55. Softball, 55. Boys and girls track, 4,400. Those are all our high school mileage and driver costs. Now, we did kind of cut some costs with drivers as far as coachings that can drive, like if they have their CDL, they're willing to drive. We did mention out to the public that if they do have a CDL and they get their Class B endorsement, the district is willing to reimburse them for that endorsement. So that'll cut the driver's costs. We had some people in the community come up to us asking, hey, what can I do? I don't mind driving for free, donating my time. So it's usually with that, we send them back to the district saying, fill out this volunteer packet, work for the district, and that kind of help our costs for the drivers. Any questions?
I have a question. I mean, I've seen a lot of activities, fundraisers throughout the community. I know sponsor about 4.
Yeah, that's probably my next couple slides.
Yeah. And I know that is going to the ABC because my grandson.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I mean, I gave him the money. But what about all those, I mean, that are up there? I mean, is somebody holding them accountable or?
Holding the ABC accountable?
No, the other people that are asking money.
Just seems to be a bunch of donations, not donations, but like money, people trying to raise money. But like, are they going under the same umbrella?
Go to the next one. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, that's on our last slide. I was bringing that up. Sorry. So the coaches fundraisers, that's our burger in the bag. That is going towards our official fees at 45,000. The athletic fee, that's not required. That can be paid to the ABC or to the district. That's not required, but that's also going to our $45,000 official fees, and everything after that. Your team sport has to fundraise. We can do our big fundraiser with the athletic fee and the coaches fundraisers to help us pay for official costs. That's 45,000 annually. But if I want to have a complete season for my football team, I'm going to have a football fundraiser. Just because the cost won't match up. So
which one would that be? The football fundraiser or would that?
Oh, that's separate. Athletic fee, the burger in the bag, that's all going to the same to pay for officials costs. If I want to have a complete 10-game season, if I'm in baseball, I want to have a complete 30-game season, I'm going to have to fundraise to complete for my season. But the fees, the athletic fee and the coaches fundraiser, that's hoping to pay for the cost for officials. for every game that we have officials.
And I understand because I mean, I think the band booster is also doing for the band. There's other people that are doing.
Yeah, like we said, the Paladins are stronger together, coming together. There's been a lot of people coming out.
Where is that my booster?
Now, Coach Bowdy, you did mention that those athletic fees are not required by the district.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, because the district has not adopted anything having to do with an athletic fee or anything.
No, sir.
What the athletic booster club is charged or asking in terms of an athletic fee is completely separate from the district. You know, the way that I see the booster clubs operate are completely independent entities, separate from the district. So any money they raise and anything is, you know, to support the different athletic departments. But that fee in general is not a requirement, and parents are not required to pay that to be enrolled in sports, enrolled in the athletic department or the athletic period or anything.
That's true, and I'm sure with the loss of communications, like this is something new to everybody. So when the message went out, it got hit a lot of different ways, and it got scrutinized, and it got kind of squeezed and turned different ways. So as we're starting to navigate, and as we're getting more understanding of what we're trying to do, we're trying to get the information out, because that was one of the things what was said was it's mandatory, and that's when I got asked.
It's this weekend or next weekend?
The burger fundraiser is this Saturday, yes, sir.
Saturday.
Yes, sir, 11 to 2.
So Coach.
Yes, ma'am.
These individuals that are sponsoring these athletes, and they're paying the money to the Athletic Booster Club. UIL does not consider that gifting. We're good on that?
We're good on that, yes.
Okay.
Well, it depends. I don't really didn't understand what you said, ma'am. I know you were directed it to Coach Barrett, but monies, from what I understand, I'm sure Mr. Grill can back me up on this. Monies that are raised by the Athletic Booster Club, the Band Booster Club, can be then given to school district to help the band or athletic purposes. That's not gifting. Now.
I know they give scholarships.
There's another group out there that does a fundraiser. First of all, they can't make any connections to a school district, from what I understand. They can get that money, then they can come before the superintendent and say, you know, we'd like to gift this money. And they would come before the board, and we would vote to accept the money, but that's the way it would go. There wouldn't be any violation of UIL in that regard. But groups that are outside the Athletic Booster Club or the Band Booster Club, if they go and try to give that money to the Band Booster Club or the Athletic Booster Club, that might be a different story. We're gonna have to look into that.
I think what Ms. Young was asking in terms of, a lot of people have started coming out and I'll sponsor this amount of kids, this amount of kids. If at any point, does that jeopardize any of their eligibility in terms of accepting funds?
The one you're talking about is being done to the Athletic Booster Club. That's an allowable activity.
They're not giving that money directly to the kid, they're giving it to the booster club. So what they're saying is, hey, Booster, I want to donate. Do you have anybody? So families that already talked to Booster, hey, I'm sorry, I can't come up with this money. Booster says, all right, thank you, let me know. We have sponsors as willing to sponsor. So it's not, there's no contact. So Vince won't know that you paid for Jesse. Ray, they won't know that you paid for Adrian.
Well, I want it because I identify some kids that I know.
Yeah, I know. And if you have guys and names like that's always,
I turn the names in and I think they say, help these people. There's two young guys that live in Chula Vista. So I help some of those with.
Yeah, and that's also being said, not like.
I'm giving it to a form that they have. And they give it to the ABC and they know that.
Yeah, we're trying to navigate through it for sure. It's new to everybody.
Can you just say, what's the ABC athletic fee?
Athletic Booster Club.
But like a athletic fee as far as.
So the athletic fee is $100 for one sport, $175 for two.
Oh, okay.
No matter.
Sponsorship thing. It's not really a fee, it's a sponsorship.
But once again, that is not required by the district.
No, it's not required by the district. I made sure when I spoke to a couple of the ABC people that, look, this is not sponsored by the school district. The school district, like you mentioned, cannot tell a student, you can't participate because you haven't paid this fee.
Right. And I think where the confusion is, they're putting out flyers that have a lot of graphics on it that appear to look like something that's coming from the school. And I think that then that's creating a confusion where, oh, the school's not doing pay to play, but it looks like we are because of the flyers. And, again, if you read the fine print, it says membership dues is $100 per student. Well, no one's forcing parents to pay that $100, but they did say something to the effect that if your student is in athletic period, they need to pay. But there's no stick to that. In other words, no one's going to force the parent. No one at the school is going to say you haven't paid your $100 or anything like that. And it's just the semantics has come across as mandatory when it's not. And again, I'm going to try to talk in plain speak tomorrow night where I make that clear. Everybody's trying to do the right thing. They're trying to help the program. It's coming across as it's pay to play when it's not pay to play.
And I guess in terms of the other fundraising that parents are taking or leading or coaches are leading, there's been a plan set to and guidance of how to get that money to the district, to the intended message and things.
Yes, sir. We had a head coaches meeting and we did talk about the opportunity. You don't have to go to the district. You can come to the district with your 461 activity account and it can do the same thing that the district can do with checks. It can go into our system. I could put a requisition and pull the money down from the sports within the district. So it has been told to our head coaches. Some head coaches are also using our district and not using ABC. We have a variety of ways of getting the point across.
Sponsorships. Remember, I know we've had discussions before, or utilizing the scoreboard.
The scoreboard, we're trying to get that done, put up. We did have 4 vendors last year that purchased a spot on the scoreboard. We told them we'll have it up by this year, so voters have those up. And if they see those 4 up, somebody might be interested in buying the next 2. It's a total of 6 spots on the board, so I'm trying to put that board up before our first game with the sponsors on there, and there'll be 2 more. Somebody can put their sponsors up as well. As far as other donations, we have our coaches reaching out. We have our board reaching out to bigger companies about our situation if they want to donate back to athletics. So we have some stuff out there, just haven't caught any fish yet.
I want to thank you, Coach, for trying to navigate through this. I know it's been complex and pass my appreciation on to your coaches.
And also thank you, coaches. I mean, they've been supporting 100% and trying to put all this thing together and make sure, we do have a football team. And like Will said, the number of sports that we have, that helps with attendance, that helps with discipline, that helps with everything. I know sometimes we say, well, UIL or they work together.
Yes, sir, they do. I agree with that.
In terms of tournaments and things that the different sports go to, I know I've spoken to you about the Border Olympics and in Laredo, and everything's free to the district in terms of fees and things like that. Just got to get over there, I think, as part of the
reimbursement.
Yeah, and I've spoken to the board president of the Border Olympics, and there may be possibilities of either reimbursement or assistance with travel or help with meals and things like that. It's a really fun to deal through Laredo, and a lot of well-off people would donate to different things over there for it. So if that's an opportunity for you guys to attend the different.
Yes, sir. You shared that, and I forward that over to all our head coaches, so they have that.
I know they have all the sports: tennis, golf, swimming.
So what's our cross country?
Yeah, cross country, and it's just the fees don't. You don't pay the fees, so.
Yeah, and
that helps.
Like I said at the parent meeting, you might think it's crazy, but it's cheaper to go on the road than to stay at home. And for that reason is You got a 7th grade football game, you got an 8th grade football game, you got a JV football game. That's 3 games at probably possibly $200 each game for 3 refs. $600 a game for 3 games, that's $1,800. I can drive a Carrizo for $1.35 for 40 miles, pay like $83, get on the bus, come back home. See what I'm saying? It's
What kind of car you got for $1.35?
I'm just doing the math. But yeah, $1.35, that's what they charge us for gas, 40 miles. So it's cheaper than that, but that's something else I did say. It might not be great, but it's cheaper that way as well, kind of finding ways to kind of cut costs.
Coach Battles, you're a stand-up guy for sticking with us
I love it.
through this.
I love my city.
You really are.
I know Robert has wanted to add. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
You, Coach.
Apologize for missing this. We had a visit with formerly known as Texas Migrant Council, now Chicanos por Causa. They had the school water damage. They came to us about renting space. We took them to a tour as a tour in Benito Juarez. We're going to visit with them a little bit more. The norm has been at the district to charge $1 a square foot. They put out a plan, 2 options, and we'll give them dollar numbers. So they wanted approximately 13,000 square feet. The dollar number I just mentioned is per month. That's the fee that we've been charged before. So we have to visit with them about that number. Okay, just an FYI, we still haven't settled it. And we'll get any documents over to legal before proceeding and to you as well.
Thank you. It's now enter into closed session. Board trustees will meet in closed session as authorized by Texas Government Code 551 and the Texas Open Meetings Act.
8:41.
Recording stopped.
8:41.